Hey everybody, it's Joric. Welcome back. Hope you're doing great wherever you are in the world. This is more of an update video kind of regarding the tragedy, the funicular, the Gloria Funicular in Lisbon, and some updates that are going on regarding, anytime there is a tragedy out there, I'll say like a transportation accident, a plane or something, there's always this rush to instead of a rush to accept blame and responsibility, there's the exact opposite. There's not our fault, and punting or pushing it off into somebody else's court. And I think we can all agree that this accident shouldn't have happened, so something went wrong. So at some point, there is some liability somewhere. But everyone tries to cover their backsides from lawsuits and whatnot, which I think are going to happen here. And it's going to be it'll be interesting to see what the future is for these funiculars in Lisbon. But I wanted to put up here the head of Caris, who is the transportation organization that the buses, the trams, the funiculars, he's the head of, came out and said that they are faultless. They bear no responsibility for what happened with this situation. And there was some hubbub about potentially some maintenance agreements that weren't in place or recently changed to where maybe there wasn't enough maintenance happening on these funiculars, and that was a problem. I think it's way too early to figure out what happened. But also, what's interesting is that maintenance workers have mentioned in several articles, and they've talked to the news about, they've made several complaints about cable, like maybe the main cable being very loose, and that being a problem, and it just wasn't addressed by all accounts, either through Caris or the maintenance company. Somebody in there is at fault for what took place here. And I want to ask you, have you been on one of these? If you're watching this video and you're either in Lisbon or you moved to Portugal, have you used one of these funiculars? I will say something that stands out, because I didn't think about it when we lived there. When I used all of them multiple times. It never really dawned on me, and I never thought about it until some people emailed me overnight going, you tram 28, famous tram, you get packed in like sardines when you're doing that. And they said, you kind of feel that same way too on many of these funiculars, especially in the high holiday seasons, summertime and now, where it's like you're just packed in as much as you can be. And it was reported that, the funicular, not the one that crashed, but the one that was at the bottom of the hill that was going to be going uphill, a gentleman that was on it said there were 40 people on that tram, on the funicular, excuse me. And if you've ever been on one of those, they're small, and imagine 40 people. And where I go with kind of the investigation and the thought on things is, I wonder if there's like a weight limit, or if there isn't one, if there's extra weight, more than what should be in those cars, that over time, hundreds of, during the week and years, thousands of trips up and down, that maybe over time there's wear and tear that might be outside the normal operating scope of, it's only supposed to have so many kilograms on board, and that's what's either going up or down. Just wonder if that's got something to do with it. We'll see. Hopefully, my hope is truly the investigation does show transparency and does show here's exactly what happened. The initial reports are there's a cable that snapped that basically, I'm not an engineer, but basically both cars are connected to help one go up, one go down, and that may be it. And if that's the case, well, if it was properly maintained, something like this should have never happened. But it was also reported in 2018, one of the cars derailed. There was a wheel issue, or so something with that caused a derailment of one of the cars. So there has been a little bit of history. But the emails that I'm getting for people is, when they get back to running, because right now they're all halted, should we worry about that? Or should we worry if we're on a tram, we're doing tram 28 or one of the other trams, and we're on a steep hill, or should we worry about it not being able to stop? I don't think that that's really an issue. And these funiculars, for as much as they've been used and however many, whatever the weight is on people going up and down, this is a very rare event. I think this is an outlier, an exception to the rule. So where I'm going with this is when it gets back up and running, and I'd like to be positive. I don't know. I've heard some people say that lawsuits are going to keep this thing from ever opening again, but I think it may open again. And I wouldn't have a problem using it. I think it's very safe, as well as walking up and down next to the funiculars. But I understand why people wouldn't want to do it. But I was trying to look up like tram accidents, and I haven't seen any. If you are aware of any tram accidents in Lisbon, please let me know. And what I mean by that is not because it's a car ran in or something to the tram. I mean it's just it got off its cables or derailed somehow and crashed. I don't think that that's happened in any recent memory. But the funiculars are very much a tourist attraction, as noted by how many people were in this accident, that so many people were not locals. But it is used by locals, and obviously there's Portuguese people that are operating, workers, the Caras funiculars. But it is sometimes disheartening. That's why I wanted to make the video, is in a response to several people, asking, do you have the latest, or do you know what's going on? And I'm going, I don't know any more than anyone else. But what is, tough to hear is, you imagine being someone who your family member is lost due to this, and within 24 hours of it happening, the company, nope, not our fault. And that to me is like one of a punch to the gut. Is maybe I understand from a legal standpoint or a liability, they don't want to get sued, but Portugal is not a litigious country like the United States is, for example. Not that there won't be lawsuits and whatnot, but I hope the investigations bear some fruit and are transparent and say exactly what happened. And yes, someone or agencies or people are at fault here, and I hope that they're held accountable for those actions. It's something that would be nice to see, because my hope is that there's some resolution for the families, some type of remedy, potentially for lost loved ones. But if there's any breaking news or any kind of new thing that happens, I'll certainly make a video about it. As always, keep the emails coming with questions that you have. I'll try to answer them as best I can. As always, thank you so much for watching, and enjoy your travels.